because you've been hearing a lot of people talk about what is to be done. Should it just be an automatic DQ if the person can't continue the fight? Because there's been a lot of kerfuffle on whether or not the ref made the right call, being a no contest. This discussion of intentional and unintentional, and let's definitely talk about that. But for me, I think one thing that I see as a potential solution is you'll hear refs warning fighters, and this is a good thing, of course, when they are, gauging distance and they're extending their fingers like that. I think it's good that they, give them warnings, but honestly, I'd like to see points taken away from that. Like, that's not something you see. I know it's not a foul because they haven't fouled them yet.
It is a foul. No, it is a
Oh,
foul
okay, all
because
right.
it is listed as something you can't do. They changed that in I forget how long ago at this point, but yes, it's actually a foul. If
So
you
then,
extend your fingers like this, as I'm doing to the camera right now, watch out.
that's what some
Yeah,
people see as
that's
fighters.
a foul. Yeah, watch out. Look.
So
Oh my
I think
goodness.
that that's a solution right there. And if you
I'm with you.
I think that would help, because it is a habit for people. Like, people have been saying this all week. Fighters, Demetrius Johnson, on his channel, probably most notably, is talking about, like, with techniques, like, it's a habit that fighters have, and I understand that, but you could break habits, right? And I think that that's one
We
way that
have
you
to
could.
break this
Yeah,
habit. We
absolutely.
have to break this habit, Jake. You can't have this anymore. Just sorry, bad habit. You can't see anymore. Like that's not okay.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. I like the idea of taking points of that. Here's how I would do it. I say anytime you have an eye poke, 2 points gone. Two immediately. 2 points gone. I don't care if it's a 3 round fight. You start doing that, I think people will do exactly what Jim was saying. They're going to stop having these fouls. People are going to understand. I cannot do this. I absolutely cannot do this because there are fighters who don't do it. Jim was even saying, like, listen, if you look at all the guys with the most fights, most cage time, and I can't fact check him on that, but in my mind, it actually sounds accurate enough. The guys who have the most cage time don't have a lot of eye pokes that I can really remember. They're not known for it. And in theory, accumulation of knowledge would say, hey, we would know, gosh, Jim Miller, he pokes people in the eye a lot. Well, no, he's had 50 fights and he's done it like 7 times in 50 fights. That's not even the case, I don't think. So I'd say 2 points for an eye poke. I would say I think that you can warn a fighter for the extended fingers because no harm, no foul yet, right? I'm okay with that 1 time. Once they do it again after a warning in the cage, which again follows what you get in the back, they still know the rule.
Hmm.
Everyone knows the rule. Once you warn them the 1 time, they do it again, take a point. That is what it is. You can't do it. It'll teach them not to. And frankly, from if you're the type of person who's like, man, I really want these fights to be finishes. You know what's going to make someone want to finish? If they know they can't win on the cards.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh yeah, watch what you saw what happened with Drew Dober. He got a point taken for a low blow, and immediately he just got like he went into like Hulk mode. He was like whole smash. He got angry. And he just finished the fight
That's
like
a good
30
example.
seconds later. It was crazy. And not every fighter's gonna do that, and that's not why you do it. But I think that would be a nice little hey, that's a benefit. Now we get that too. I think that's how you do it. You take the 2 points for a poke, you do the warning, and then a foul, one point foul for extended fingers. And really quickly, I think that'll go away. I don't even think you need the fines. If you could do it, I'm cool with it, but I don't think you need them.
Yeah, I agree. And so I want to ask you about Saturday specifically. I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure that when that fight finished and it ended in a no contest, we were talking and you said that that was the right call. Have you changed your mind, or do you still believe that a no contest was the right way to go for the referee?
So it's not necessarily that it was the right call, but this is just the way they do it.
Right.
It's literally the way things are. And I'm not saying it's right,
Hmm.
but that is what they have done.
Yeah.
Yeah, in situations like this, unless again, kind of like I said earlier in the show, if they're warning them, hey, don't do that, and then they keep doing it, and then you got to stop
Right.
it
Yeah.
for it, and that's it. That's often where we see the DQ come in. We did have a disqualification in the Piotr Jan fight against Aljamain Sterling, who weirdly enough was a little critical of this kind of. He's walked it back a little bit too, but he had some very strange, peculiar comments directed at Tom Aspinall and that kind of thing. And I was like, well, why would you do
I
that?
was
You know
puzzled.
what he
Yeah.
suffers from. That was very strange. I thought it was a little weird. I do think he's thought about that. Not the point. The To get back to it here, yes, there was a DQ in that scenario, and no, it wasn't like a repeated warning thing. I believe he was kind of told like don't do it from there or something like that, but then he threw the knee. I trying to remember it off the top of my head and I'm not, but I'm cool with DQ there. I think I am, but I don't think it's not like we need a result. You know, it's not so much that like someone needs to suffer for this, right? Um, but I don't know when do they start doing that? When do they start taking points and doing all that stuff? I don't know. Um,
I
Especially
understand
in a
what you're
scenario, yes,
saying.
where he was winning the fight, right? It's very tricky.
Yeah,
Um,
it's not
yeah,
necessarily like a because like you mentioned, it's already a foul to keep extending your fingers. It's not necessarily a changing of the rules. It's a changing in how referees are applying the rules, right?
I think that again, it comes down to referees really don't like to inject themselves if they can avoid to. They want the fighters to settle things, and that's admirable in some ways, but also, you know, sometimes you just have to do it.
Hmm.
If the protocol was in a situation like this where somebody cannot continue because a foul, whether it was intentional or not, which you're never going to really assess.
Yeah,
Does anyone sit there and really think Ciryl Gane was trying to poke him in the eye? No, I don't think so. He's not a nefarious person. I'm sure he wasn't trying to do that because, frankly, it only cost him at the end of the day. Well, it cost Tom Aspinall too, but
you
it
could
cost
make an
cost
argument.
him an
Yeah,
opportunity. Cost him an opportunity because he was
sure.
doing well. Um, Neither here nor there. I I'm okay with them switching to making it DQ, but you just kind of have to start doing that more when we have negative fouls like this.
100%. Yeah, like you said, Cyril's not. It was not intentional, but it was. You should penalize fighters
Probably.
for being. You should penalize fighters for being reckless. If you're reckless, which it is,
Hmm.
it is a bad habit. Like we said, habits can be broken. That's not. It doesn't justify it. It's reckless.
Reckless is a great word for it. I think that's something that should be thrown around a little bit more. If you're recklessly fouling, you know, that's where the problem comes in, right? You're not in control of your weapons, which you have to be.
Hmm.
And it's not about intent or malintent, right? It's about your control versus how reckless you are. And if you are reckless with those fingers, you deserve to be punished for it. And if that means a disqualification, I could accept that, but we got to start doing it and we got to do it regularly.